I'm just keeping it, I'm just keeping it, I'm just keeping it real. Give them something, they give them something, they give them something, they feel. If you're tired of being stressed out and been depressed about it, you feel. We gon' let you know.
Yo, it's official, like a referee with a whistle. So like and share. How should you deal with when a woman leaves you and never comes back? How do you handle something like this? Interesting, right? Because a lot of people probably haven't dealt with it. But if you live long enough, you're going to have to deal with this, you know? And I've said earlier the better. And there's two ways to, two situations, I would say. Because, some people leave out of your life, they might have had a freak accident. Some people pass away and they leave. That's one way. How you deal with that? And then some people walk away. They leave the house, or you left their house. You never saw them again. Y'all agreed to part ways for whatever reason, right? So I've been on both sides of the equation. I've lost a lot of people over the years. People passed away. And I kind of look at it like this. I think about the good times that we had when they were here with me, when I spent time around them. Whether it's a man or a woman. I've lost some close friends over the years. And there's no one formula to dealing with it, with some type of loss, or when people leave, or when somebody passed away. Everyone has to find their own way that works best for them in a situation when somebody passes away. But I think about the good times. That makes me not cry or be sad very much, except during the holidays. The holidays very tough. This time of year is very tough. November, December is very tough for me because I used to hang around my friends and family, around the same people that passed away around this time of the year. So it's tough, but I still think about the good times that we shared together. The good and the bad, positive and negative. Because they're not here no more. And I got to find a way to move on without them. Because that's what they would want me to do. You know what I'm saying? I always ask, what would they want me to do? And they would want me to find a way to move on, keep living your life. And always just don't forget about them. That's all. That's what they would want me to do. Now, if somebody if somebody's still alive and say, "Hey, I don't want to talk to you no more. Don't call me no more," or maybe they come to your house, or maybe you see them in public and they say, "Hey, I made a decision that I don't want to see you no more. Today is your last day, or our last day of seeing each other." If someone comes to you like that, I always look at it like this. I don't want nobody around me that doesn't want to be around me. I don't want people around me because they feel stuck, or because they have to, or obligated to. No, I want people to be free to be around me. That's how I always looked at it. I never really I wanted things to be always to be natural, organic, like some people would say. I don't want people to feel like they're being pressured to be around me, or this like it's a fucking job or some shit like that. So if someone comes to me and says, "Hey, today's our last day for us to be around each other. I just wanted to come to you in person and tell you how I felt." I respect that, right? And at the same time, man, this person is doing me a favor by leaving. Yeah, they're doing me a favor. And the faster they leave, the better. Because I'm going to meet someone else that's 9 times out of 10 that's better than them. Yeah. I'm going to meet somebody else that's 9 times out of 10 is better than them. See, when one door closes, the next door opens. So when this person leaves, they're making room for the new person. That's how it works in real life. Yeah. Yeah. Look, one woman's trash is the next woman's treasure. That's how it works in real life. So when people leave, man, they're doing you a favor. Yeah, man, they're doing you a favor when they leave, man. When somebody tells you, "Hey, I don't want to talk to you no more," man, you should feel, now at that time, you might feel a certain type of way or whatever, because maybe you thought you was going to be around this person for the long term. But once the smoke clears and you start to accept things for what it is, man, she or he, man, they're doing you a favor. They making room for the next person. Yeah, that's how you got to look at it. Look, everybody. The reality is, here's the reality. Some people that you meet are not going to be around for the long term. Most people you meet are going to be around for the short term. But it's always good to remember, and my grandmother told me this: how you meet them is usually how long they stay. Yeah, how you meet them is usually how long they stay. That's usually how it goes. So in other words, for example, if you meet someone fast, they come in fast, start doing shit fast, y'all doing too much, y'all moving fast, there's a good chance that relationship is going to end. Probably sooner than later. Because y'all doing too much. Y'all moving too fast. Y'all not really trying to get to know each other. Y'all hopping in the sack with each other the first night or the next or the second day. Y'all taking trips on the weekends. Y'all see each other almost every weekend for the past 6 months. When things start moving fast like that, that relationship is not going to it's probably not going to last for the long term, because anything that happens fast, for the most part, you can't really sustain it over the long term. Because once y'all start doing all this stuff, but y'all really don't know each other. But y'all along the way of spending all this time with each other, the weekends, weekday, or you're sexting or whatever, things start coming out slowly but surely. And then over time, you be like, I really don't like this person. They have a lot of ways that I don't really like. a lot of habits that I don't really like. There's a lot of things about them that I don't really like. Now, you might like hanging out with them. You might spend time with them. But maybe they're not the type of person that, maybe they're not wife material. Maybe they're not relationship material. Maybe they're not somebody that you would take around your friends and family. You know what I'm saying? Every woman you meet is not gonna be like that. There's some women are just good for what she is. You know, she's just somebody you call, you spend time with. You know, she come to your house, you go to her house, or y'all go out of town together. That's the best. For the most part, the women you meet, the majority of them, that's the best it's gonna be. That's the best it's gonna be right there, what I just described. You know, y'all just spend time together, take trips together every once in a while. You go to her house, she come to your house. That's the best it's gonna be for most of the women you meet. You know, and then you got some women. It's like y'all don't go nowhere together. You go to her house, she come to your house, and that's it. Y'all don't eat together. Y'all don't even sleep together. Y'all just smash and go. That's it. And then you got that type of relationship too. You know, and so it's a very small pool of women you have where y'all get into deep conversations, talk about life, how y'all see family, motherhood, fatherhood, how she grew up with her parents, how you grew up with your parents. You know, I mean, her experiences and your experiences. It's only a small percentage of women you're gonna meet where you can go there and have those conversations. Really, it's not a big pool of females you're gonna meet like that. That's just a reality. You know, especially today, females today are different. Females today are not like your mom or your grandma. Not even close. Just like guys. Guys are not like your grandfather or your dad, depending on how old your dad is. If your dad is 50 something years old, well, I'm not talking about that age, because that'd be my age. I'm talking about if your dad is like 70 plus years of age. You know what I'm saying? I mean, people are just different today. You know, a lot of people have bad role models growing up. And I believe that most people don't even know what commitment looks like. They don't know what it is. They just think it means let's be together for the good times, but when the not so good times appear, it's time to bail out and go find somebody else. You know, no, you know, that's not really a commitment. Most women you meet today are hoes. They're gonna be hoes 9 times out of 10. Kind of loose, kind of all over the place. They don't know wherever they're coming or going. Some of them is popping hella pills. That's another thing. And the older they get, seems like the more pills they pop today. You know, I mean, if you meet a girl that's in the 30s and 40s, boy, a lot of them is popping pills. You know, I think the younger she is, probably the better. Probably no pills in the 20s. But man, a lot of them get on them antidepressants or some type of pill. You'd be like, God damn, how many pills you take? 3, 4, 5. God damn, she might be in 34 years old, popping hella pills. And a lot of people have psychological problems and, you know, identity issues, you know. So it's just, I think the pool of women that you have today, that you're going to meet today, and that's that's for the long term or wifey material, it's gonna be them numbers gonna be smaller than ever today. You know, that's just how it is. I look at it like this. I put women in categories. You have the 70 percenters, the 27 percenters, and the 3 percenters. You know, and I use these three categories for a lot of different aspects of life: business, jobs, relationships, etc. You know, and these numbers they change from slightly, but I'm usually spot on. It's the 70 percenters are usually the majority of women you meet. They kind of all over the place. You know, a lot of them is kind of loose, kind of you don't know if they're coming or going. You know, a lot of them are entitled. They think a guy owed them something. They think a guy is supposed to do whatever, make them happy without doing anything. And they don't even deserve it. And if you try to talk to them and say, why do you think a guy should do that? He don't even know you. That's just how I feel. You know, it's that type of mindset. That's just how everything is how I feel. There's no logic in anything. You know, I mean, a woman should have a little bit of logic. I mean, god damn, if I just met a woman yesterday and she think I should pay her bill, I mean, or take her to get her nails done, or I'm like, or take her shopping. I'm like, why? I mean, why should I don't know anything about you. I mean, I barely know your name. I mean, I'm not an entertainer or a celebrity. So that's not me. I'm just I'm not, nobody knows me. I'm not famous. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But if you try to talk to most of these women, it's like everything it's going to be kind of all over the place. That's why they're the 70 percenters. Now, the 27 percenters are usually the women that have a grasp of men, understand where men are coming from. They can, even if they don't, I'm not saying they know everything, but they know a lot about men. They know how to act around men. They know how a lot of men tick. You know, they know how to come across around men. You know, maybe they've had a bad experience or two around some type of guy, but they're not jaded or anything like that or whatever. You know, so that's usually how it go with them type of women. They don't bash men. You know, if you come across as a respectable guy, she'll give you respect. You don't have to earn her respect. You know, now the women in the 70% club, you have to earn their respect as a man. The 27%, they don't have 27% club. You don't have to earn their respect as a man. No, they give it until proven otherwise. You know what I'm saying? That's by default. That's usually how it goes. And the 3% club women are usually the women that everybody likes. Everybody likes being around her. They like her vibe. You know, she got the looks, she got the attitude, she got the charm, she got the charisma. You see a lot of these women online. You know, not a lot, but you see some of these women online. She might be a dime, or she might be close to a dime piece. You know, she got the money, she got the car, she got the clothes, she got the family. She usually married or about to get married, or she. Nobody says anything bad about her. You know, and I'm not saying she's perfect. You know, but she's in that 3% club. Some of these women can be controversial at times, or maybe certain things about them can be a little controversial. Some people kind of they can rub people the wrong way sometimes. People can be very opinionated about them. At times. That's how it is. That's how it is. The people, they can be the talk of the town, or to be the talk on the internet, or be the talk within mainstream media. Some of these women, majority of these women, they're kind of semi-famous in their town or in their city. But outside of their city, probably nobody knows them. But in that town, yeah, everybody knows. If you go to that town and say, "Hey, such and such," everybody like, "Yeah, I know her. Yeah, that's Miss Such and Such. Yeah, she's a 3%er." You know what I'm saying? I'll give you an example. Erica Badu would be a 3%er. She'd be qualified as a 3%er. Even Sierra would be an example of a 3%er. Even though some people, they dislike a lot of things about her. They said Sierra's a jump off or whatever. Like I said, some of these women, they do controversial things at times, but in some things they do, us on the outside, we might not understand. You know what I'm saying? That's how it go. But they have the courage to do certain things that other women won't do. That's the thing. That's what makes them a 3%er. They stuff that they do that the women in the 70% club wouldn't dare do. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it because a lot of women in the 70% club aren't willing to sacrifice anything to live a better life, have a family, etc. They aren't willing to do it. Women in the 70% club are kind of in a dream world, fantasy, right? The women that's in the 27% club and the 3% club, they're not in a fantasy world at all. They know what time it is. They know what's going on out here. They know that in order for them to get to where they want to get to, a sacrifice has to be made. Some type of sacrifice has to be made. So they're not living in a fantasy world at all. So when a woman leaves, she's going to do a favor because she's making room for the 27% club woman or the 3% woman. You just never know. But if someone is there that don't want to be there around you, they're just taking up space. They're just taking up space. Now you might be one of those guys that feel like, well, I don't know what, you might not have the confidence to let somebody go because they don't want to be there. Well, see, that makes you a coward by doing that. Sometimes you have to end the relationship for that person. Just keep that in mind because some people are cowards. Some men and women, they aren't willing to end the relationship, even though they know, even both parties know it should end immediately, but they still won't do it because one person don't want to come out and say it. I've been in a situation like that too, where like the other person, no, I know they want to leave, but they don't want to come out and say it. So I took it upon myself to say it, and when that person left, look, and when people leave, it's going to be tough. You're going to feel bad. You're going to feel sad and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, et cetera, right? It's tough. But over time, you heal, you start to feel better about yourself. And I'm telling you, you're going to meet somebody else when you least expect. And they're going to be 10 times, 10 times better than the person that just left. You wasted all that energy with somebody for all these months and years, somebody that didn't really want to be around you. Y'all have nothing in common at all, but you could have been with somebody else that do have something in common with you, that like being around you, and you having money and cars and clothes and jewelry and all the rest of the bullshit ain't got nothing to do with it. They just like being around you. You know what I'm saying? You're like a mystery to them. That's the person you want to be around. That's the person you really want around you. You don't want a person around you because they're trying to get something. It's like someone that's thirsty. You don't want that. You know what I'm saying? So this is how I deal with it. Keep this in mind. You know what I'm saying? I can keep going on and on, but this video is starting to get a little bit too long. You know what I'm saying? But you tell me what you think. You could completely disagree with everything I just said. If so, let me know below. Like, share this episode. Until next time, I'm out.
Alright. Just got the call, it's going down tonight. It's a lot of goodbyes here tonight. But then I saw the stallion that I like. Here from Cali, I live in the valley.